Fight Time Network. Welcome back to Fight Time Network, everybody. We are back in the building. This weekend we got UFC 320. Banger, banger, banger. Title fights, boys. In Vegas this Saturday. What's up, Lee? How you doing, bub?
Doing pretty good, man. We had a wild weekend. Didn't do as well in the UFC as we wanted to, but we had 20 bets out across four different promotions and ended up with plus 15 units, plus 1 unit on the UFC. We got Alberg by KO. That ultimately did us in to make some profit, but good weekend overall between the LFA, Cage Warriors, and PFL.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And Moises Gonzalez back in the building from California. How you doing, Bob?
Doing great, bro. Doing great. So glad to be back, man. I appreciate you guys. And just like Lee said, you know what? They didn't do too well on UFC, but man, it was such a great card and it was an exciting one. The biggest upset from Neil Magny literally got everybody
Oh
in
man.
awe. But
Yep.
man,
We don't even need to be getting into those shenanigans right now, right? Let's keep on with UFC 320 breakdown and predictions. First banger on the main card this Saturday. Abus Magomedov taking on Joe Pyfer. What a way to start this card out in Vegas. This one's a very hard pick for me, Lee, truthfully. They're kind of both fight the same. They both don't have a best gas tank going into the later rounds. But usually Joe Pyfer, where he comes and runs into his problem is those later rounds when the people can't still keep their feet moving. But this one gets very interesting. Abus kind of utilizes his gas tank almost exactly like Joe Pyfer. First two rounds, Joe Pyfer kind of went overboard with saving the gas tank, I feel like, against Gastelum. He could have opened up a little more, but what do you think, Lee? We rip this one off. Let's go.
You know what? I'm on the underdog side this week with Abus Magomedov. I have never, ever laid a cent on Abus. It's only been against him in all his fights. But after seeing what he can do against a powerhouse like Michel Pereira, a guy that's coming to knock your block off for 3 straight rounds and ultimately able to score the moments in which the judges favor him the victor. And then you get a round one guy like Bruno Ferreira, who's coming out that first round to knock your block off, and he's able to, weather that storm and submit him in the third round. He's also faced guys like Kai Bahario, who also has that same ability and was able to bring that to a decision. The only time he's ever really been finished in the UFC has been by Sean Strickland at the point in which Sean Strickland had something to prove en route to getting that championship fight. So I really love Abus Magomedov. I think if Joe Pyfer makes an early mistake, Abus Magomedov has the tools in order to make him pay for it. Or if Joe Pyfer right there in the third, Abus certainly will be.
I mean, you ain't wrong if on this main card, pretty much, if you're wanting an underdog pick, this is going to be where it's at. Unless you're going to put some money on Emmet. Cool, Rountree Prochazka gets a little tricky, but I'm pretty sure he's like plus 180. So,
yeah, plus 175. I got him on that ticket right there. I like that a lot. It's going to be close. Pyfer could certainly knock him out, but ultimately, just seeing what he did with Michel Pereira leads a lot of questions that are going to have to be answered by Pyfer.
But I mean, we've also seen kind of Michel Pereira's route since So it's like, yeah, it's a good win. Bruno Ferreira, Alves is whatever, Bahayo. He's lost his streak on back before that. You're not wrong. If you're wanting to cut in that game on an underdog in this card, that might be the way to go. What's your thoughts on this, Moises? I mean, both these fighters kind of fight the same.
Yeah.
But one's just a little more successful with the takedown. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, honestly, bro, I feel like we have the same notes, Lee. I was looking at it, but my perspective is a little bit more different because he went 3 rounds with Michel Pereira, but look at him now. You know what I mean? He's getting finished in the first and second rounds, and if he couldn't finish Michel Pereira, do we really see him finishing Joe Pyfer, which is a big dude, heavy striker? He has a lot of power in those hands, and yes, maybe his gas tank will be tested, or maybe he'll be patient enough to see if Abus makes that mistake in the early rounds. But my pick is going to be Joe Pyfer, just because yes, you know what I mean? He did fight Kyle Borralho. Abus fought Kyle Borralho, and then he did get knocked out by Sean Strickland. But you're right. Sean Strickland was proving something at that point in time. So I don't think this Sean Strickland today would beat him. But my pick is going to be Joe Pyfer against Abus. And I know he's a bit of a favorite. It's not that much of a spread, but I liked the under 2.5 on that one. On that one too. So I'll sprinkle something under the 2.5.
That's a good
Which
one.
is risky, but for me, I'm gonna sprinkle something on that. You know me, I'm a DJ. I'm a DGen, bro. I'm a DGen, so
Yeah, it's one of those fights where you could probably put something on both ends. Like you got Joe Pyfer by KO, or you got Abus Magomedov by decision.
yeah.
It's probably going to be the way it factors if these guys are going to win in their both respective fashions. Ultimately, Magomedov's probably going to win over the judges. Pyfer's probably going to knock your block off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that.
So where I'm pretty much at here, though, with what you guys said is perfect. Pretty much Abus fought a little higher competition in Pyfer, and I'm still waiting for that one fight from Pyfer, and this one's it. For me to start backing his pony, get him rolling. His Gastelum fight's Gastelum. Gastelum, we can write a whole freaking podcast on Gastelum. We don't need to get into that motherfucker.
Yeah, for real.
But I'm going to go with a boost on this one. And if Pyfer wins it, I'm definitely going to start jumping on the Pyfer train, going up through the rankings. And after this fight, if he proves it gets done, I'll start taking him. But for me, it's Abus. Is it Abus or Abus? Abus Sepayan.
Whatever you want to call him, bro. Whatever you want to call him. It's the same name.
That's pretty much where I'm at. This is his test for Pyfer, and I'm just not willing to take him yet because I haven't seen. I was hoping he would get a finish on Gastelum, truthfully. And don't worry, he knocked him silly left and right the whole freaking fight until it came to the third round where Gastelum kind of started coming back. But who knows if Abus has that power to go late into them rounds. And you can't sleep on Abus has, 16 knockouts, 18 knockouts too. So he has that power. It's an amazing fight, amazing matchup. I can't wait for it. Moving on to this next little banger. Josh Emmet, ladies and gentlemen, is coming back up in his cage. Taking on Youssef Zalal, 17-5-1. I'm probably going to go with Zalal by decision here. What's your thoughts, Moises?
Bro, honestly, I love this matchup because this is just a fun fact right now that the two things that they have in common is that they both lost to Ilia Topuria, right? By decision, right? But one thing that I do like about Josh Emmet in his last fight with Lerone Murphy, yes, he lost by decision, but he was mixing in some grappling. He was trying to get some takedowns. He was actually not going, too many into his power shots that, honestly, that's all he's got. But, man, he put somebody in a seizure with that. You know what I'm saying? But my pick is going to be Zalal, obviously, because I do love Josh Emmet, bro. I took a picture with him. He's an awesome guy. I did a stare down with him. And he stares into your soul, bro, when he does that stare down. But I'm going to have to go with Zalal, man. I see because I can see maybe Josh Emmet is like, you know what? I'm going to try and mix in some more grappling. And I think he's going to get caught and get submitted by Zalal.
Finished is what you're talking about here. No kidding.
Finished, submitted. Because, you know what? Like, I'm telling you, bro, I like to sprinkle on some little risky picks. You know what I'm saying? So maybe a little sub by Zalal. You know what I mean?
I mean, he did have 3 straight subs. 3 straight shoves right before his last win. So you ain't wrong, boy.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm like, a little sprinkle on that don't hurt.
I just feel like Josh Emmett's going to he just came off his loss with Lerone Murphy. So I really feel like he's going to be patient and save his gas tank. That's why I don't feel like Zalal is going to be able to finish him because Josh Emmett needs this dub, needs this win to stay relative. He's 40 years old. He doesn't need to start down that train. And if he gets too cocky in the first couple rounds and gets caught, like you said, in the late third round, that could be the wrap for Josh Emmett. And then where does he go from here? He's 40. I mean, there's no one last push up for him. And we all know Emmett doesn't even care about the title anyway. He just wants to knock someone the hell out. But everybody cares about the title. But he knows that ain't his.
Yeah.
Especially with his last loss to Lerone Murphy. What's your thoughts on this one, Lee? You think the young gunner, Zalal, going to be able to finish Josh Emmett in the later rounds, maybe catch him earlier? You going to think he's going to catch that missile down the middle, baby, that Josh Emmett knockout and Emmett's done, gives up the gloves? What do you think?
I'm not really excited for this fight, man. It is not really one that particularly blows my hair back at all. I think although Zalal does have those grappling skills a little bit further than Lerone Murphy, as Moises touched on, though, but he kind of has the same octagon operation that Lerone Murphy has, and I think we're going to see the exact same thing on the feet with Zalal that we've seen Lerone Murphy be able to do. And furthermore, yeah, if he does try to implement any sort of grappling, which ultimately should come in the later rounds, because Emmet's a pretty big guy to try to get down early when he's got all that strength above him. But ultimately, no, I think we're going to see Emmet try to go in, try to get a good hard shot off early, try to get that respect. And I don't think he's going to really be able to touch Zalal. And then I certainly think if Zalal is going to implement any sort of grappling, then it might the fact that he's able to move around and is so defensively well will ultimately complement that.
Great.
Good stuff, Lee. That's what's up. Get it. I just feel like, yeah, it's going to go to decision for me and Zalal. At least win 2 of the rounds. Maybe Emmet get the best of him in 1 round, keep it close. But we shall see. Zalal might just not move in the right directions throughout the fight, man, and Josh Emmett just picking him apart. It happens.
I think Emmet will have a couple of moments in it, but ultimately I think the majority of the moments in control and just convincing the judges you're going forward and trying to progress the fight, all those moments are going to be won by Zalal.
Right.
Let's move this forward to this next, I can't believe this is even mixed into this card, ladies and gentlemen. Yuri Prochazka, 31-5-1 against Khalil Rountree, 14-6. Man, I love both of these dudes. This is one of the most hardest picks for me. But by God, ladies and gentlemen, we better not see a stupid takedown in this fight. Better stand and bang. Yuri Prochazka don't even block. He just dodges, moves into it. Khalil Rountree looked amazing over a hill, picked him apart, was patient, didn't ever get excited, pretty much saw everything that was coming against Hill. Looked really good, and he came in at underdog. It wasn't much, maybe a plus 120, plus 110. But that was a pretty much fight. If you weren't a casual, if you didn't really look back and see and watch Khalil and Hill, that Khalil wasn't just going to smoke him anyway. That was one I wish I'd have put more money on. I put a lot of money on Khalil, but that was one of those you just don't pass up because it was just straight as forward. And if you really broke it down, you saw him winning pretty much 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going Prochazka here. Oh, I don't know. The only reason I'm picking Prochazka here fully is he's been one of my favorites ever since he came in from Rise, and his fighting style, the way he fights, the way he focuses, and actually his reason for fighting, his focus on it. I've loved Prochazka from the rip, and I really want him to get this done, but let's go flip a coin. Boom, we got tails. What you got, Moises?
Bro, honestly, man, I love the matchup because Jiri Prochazka is so unorthodox, and he's like you said, he doesn't block, he dodges. And what I see when it comes to both of those fighters is that Khalil Rountree Jr., bro, if he can come in and attack those legs early on, bro, that will slow down his dodging and eventually start picking him apart. But because I forgot who was doing it. I don't know if it was Rakish that was doing it or I forgot who it was, but I got to look at my notes. But they were tearing up his leg, and his leg was tore up. And I think it was Rakish that was tearing up his legs. And then eventually it looked like it hurt him, but he was still moving forward. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like if Khalil Rountree just capitalizes on that and slows him down, because when he's putting pressure on you and he's just dodging your hits and throwing these weird punches at you, you're gonna get clipped by them. But if he can slow him down and get that going, I feel like Khalil Rountree can take it. I know I love Jiri Prochazka too, and yes, he knocked out Jamal Hill. Khalil, took him to decision, but yeah, bro, I'm gonna go with the dog on this one. And I'm gonna pick Khalil Rountree.
Shoot, Lee.
I'm on your side, Brendan. I think you're like this is a tale of two strikers. It's going to be the fight of the night for sure. But you've got a conservative striker in Khalil Rountree against a very not conservative striker in Yuri Prochazka. And statistically, it's the guy that always is willing to take the risks that ends up with the highlight, that ends up with the finish. Now, a lot of people go back to their common opponent of Alex Pereira, where Yuri Prochazka's fought him twice and Khalil Rountree's fought him once. Khalil Rountree made it to the fourth round while Yuri got knocked out in the second both times. But Yuri was taking risks in the first round. He was trying to finish it where I don't think Khalil was. And I think Yuri, not only does he have double the experience of Khalil Rountree, but he also is just, regardless of getting knocked out, he's willing to continue to risk everything. And that's what wins you fights. And ultimately, that's why I have to put the money on Yuri.
That's pretty much how I'm seeing it too, man. Is Yuri's going to push forward. I think, yeah. I mean, not that everybody's kind of counting Rountree except for you out right now, Moises. And I can see 100% where you're coming through, because Yuri's going to make openings for Khalil Rountree to maybe step forward with a harder punch, or he's just going to have him on him like white on rice. Yuri Prochazka is going to bring the fight to you every single freaking time.
Yeah.
And the only thing I don't like is how many times Prochazka gets hit, man. But it is only a 3-round banger.
That's true.
So both of these guys have lately, been in the 5-rounders. So it's going to be totally different on how they take what they've learned in those 5 rounds and try to both of them compact it down into a 3-round fight with so much on the line. Can you go out there in the first round and feel out your opponent in this high caliber of a fight? I don't believe you can. How this is going to start out the first round is how this fight's going to end up. And it's either going to be very dirty. And if Rountree cannot get Prochazka's respect early, it's going to be wildfire, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to be falling asleep during this son of a bitch.
For real. I'm excited for it. I agree with Lee that it's going to be a fight of the night for sure. Like, they're going to have to start standing and banging right then and there, and then try to find their openings right then. Because if they start spending a minute or two trying to fill each other out, it's not gonna happen. Especially if Yuri's gonna get impatient. But you know what? I'm just keep on going. Hopefully I could clip this guy right in the beginning. I can see it.
What it's really going to come down to ultimately is going to be when Yuri Prochazka opens up and leaves those openings for counters from Khalil Rountree, is Khalil Rountree just going to hit the counter, or is he going to come back with 2, 3, 4 afterwards? Because that's going to be the key right there.
Right.
When Yuri opens up and Khalil Rountree lands that one shot, is it going to be followed up with 2, 3, 4? Because it's going to have to be to win this fight. Because if he's only going to be following up with that one counter shot, circling off and conserving the fight, Yuri's going to, like you said, Yuri's going to keep coming forward with all that, and it'll likely overwhelm or win moments.
Hell yeah. Super pumped for this one. This is definitely my most excited fight on the card, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm sure everybody else can either agree that, or you're just a damn casual kid. You don't even know. Get off of it. Get out of here. I'm just kidding, ladies and gents. Alrighty. So, moving on to our first title fight in the bantamweight division. Dvalishvili, 24, coming up against Corey the Sandman Sandhagen, 18-5. I love Sandhagen. You never know. I would love for him to knock out Rob. That'd be fucking dope. And if anybody in that division, Corey Sandhagen has definitely deserved something like that. And nobody could take that away from him and prove he got lucky if he sleeps him. But I feel like Marab's going to do the same shit. And you just can't stop him, dude. Ain't nobody taking this dude's title till he retires. That's just how it's going to be. He's going to be one of the greatest bantamweights of all time and go down as the GOAT division. It is what it is. Hopefully Corey Sandhagen keep getting up. He's proven that he can do that. He has great jiu-jitsu. Can scramble. Corey Sandhagen is one of the best people to create a scramble in the division that I've seen. He did lose to Magomedov. But I'm still taking Merab here, man. I don't think anybody in this division is going to be able to stop this train. And he's only 34. Merab's 34, still doing it like that, still in his prime. As long as Dvalishvili doesn't get cocky and try to stand on his feet too long, I don't see him not being able to get this win. What's your thoughts, Lee?
Yeah, I think once again, this is another fight on the card. It doesn't particularly blow my hair back at all. I think Corey Sandhagen.
But you got to make it. You got to make it.
You got to make it. It's got to happen. Make the division make sense. It certainly have to happen. But nonetheless, I think all we're going to see is Corey Sandhagen on a grappling defense for 5 rounds straight. He has, the better striking ultimately than Merab, but I just see him getting very frustrated, trying to get the rhythm, trying to get it set it up. I don't think he's going to beat Merab in the grappling exchanges by any means. I think as hard as he tries to scramble, it's just going to lead to him still in a defensive position. Ultimately, if Merab gets him down, I'm sure Sandhagen's going to get to the cage. He's going to get to a hip. He's going to get back up to his feet, but he's going to be constantly fighting those hands that are going to be locked around him from Merab, and his striking is going to get negated. And unless there is the luckiest Leon Edwards, flash knockout from a quick technique, I really just see Sandhagen on the defensive entirely for this 5-round fight.
Yeah, Merab coming in is a very heavy favorite in this one, Lee. What's your thought, or fucking Moises? What's your thoughts, bud?
Yeah, bro. Dude, I love Corey Sandhagen, bro. But
everybody does. That's the problem here.
The machine, bro. Like the machine, man. Like, yes,
God,
Corey. He can go and he can scramble and he can do everything that he can. But like the machine, they call him the machine for a reason, bro. Like, is Sandhagen's tank going to be the same as Merab's? I don't think so. He, like you said, he's gonna be reigning and defending for such a long time with this belt that I don't see Merab losing this. I'm gonna be honest. Maybe if just like you said, if we see like a Leon Edwards moment where he's over here getting cocky and he's like, yeah, and then all of a sudden Cody comes with the freaking flying knee, clips him. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden everybody's like, we get a Neil Magny moment. We're like, no way. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. Dude, Merab, he's been evolving. And then we saw him submit Sean O'Malley, made it look like it's butter, bro. And I'm like, bro, this guy's a beast. But yeah, man, my pick is going to be Merab on this one. Over 2.5 takedowns, too.
I'd imagine. I got to say, that's a wrap on that one. Like, yes, that is the wrap.
What is the odds on the over 2.5 takedowns right now for Merab? Do you know?
Right now it's just 2x. So like on Underdog, because I use Underdog, it's 2x. So if you get, I'm trying to get another
plus 200
on there. So yeah, so I could get it to at least 30x if I get 2 more on there.
Hell yeah! So plus 200 for Merab to land plus 2. Man, that's good. That's good. I think I might take that.
Right. Guess so.
Hell yeah.
Main event time, ladies and gentlemen. Magomedov Ankalaev 21-1 against Alex Pereira 12-3. I don't see this fight going much different than the first one, because if Alex Pereira has to worry about the takedown, the only way you can defend that takedown, because he never opened up his hands, and all he did was worry about one thing. Don't catch me wrong if I'm not wrong. The first fight, defended every single takedown. I think he even might have gotten one of his own. God bless.
Yeah, he did.
In the first fight, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But if he has to let his hands go to try to win the fight, he's got to give up the takedowns, and that's just, he can't risk that in this fight. He will not get back up. But if Alex Pereira does let the hands go, what happens, Lee? What happens, Lee?
You know what? I'm on the other end of this one, man. I like as much as I love Alex Pereira and I'm gonna bet on Alex Pereira. Realistically, who I see winning this fight though is Magomedov Ankalaev. A lot of people classify him as a grappler. Like, he's not. He's primarily a striker. Right. Guy's got no submission wins and 11 knockouts. I don't think Alex Pereira is going to come in with a different game plan. I think he's probably just going to do the same thing that's won him championships over and over and over again, twice as hard. So it comes down to the question of ultimately, will Ankalaev be able to defend that like he did in the first fight? Twice as much as it's coming hard at you. That hard ass low kick shuts your shit down in a second, man. It hurts, and then that left hook just comes up. It's so simple that you just don't give it credit, and that's what's won Alex Pereira championship. So I think he's coming double hard with that. But ultimately, Ankalaev had an answer for it the last time, and certainly think that he'll be able to figure it out for the most part this time around.
Mike's hot Moises gonna pop in on here, take this underdog plus 200 money.
After we got Ankalaev 2 picks right now, I'll be the only one on this podcast that's gonna pick Alex Pereira. Just because in the last fight, I watched it literally last night with my wife because we were mad that Dominic Reyes lost. So we're like, all right, let's watch some tape. And so yeah, we watched it, and I just didn't see Alex Pereira fighting like how he was fighting with his other fights. I know Ankalaev was
sick or had an injury, if I'm not wrong,
a little
right?
too much for him. What was that?
He was sick or had an injury. Pereira did mention. I remember him saying something like that the last fight.
He had a stomach flu, so he had the runs. You know what I'm saying? So he had the runs that night, but I just saw him fighting a lot more different. Like I didn't see, when he says Shama, I didn't see that warrior in him when he was fighting Khalil Rountree. You know what I mean? Like Jiri Prochazka. Like I didn't see that Alex Pereira when he was fighting Ankalaev. And so now, he said that he's already balanced his chakras and all this other stuff, right? But I seen his training videos, and he's been training very well. And so I feel that he's probably gonna defend. He's gonna defend those takedowns. And like Lee said, bro, Ankalaev has 0 submission wins and he has a bunch of knockouts. But I feel like Pereira is gonna come in and get this done. Probably not a knockout, maybe a decision. So defending these takedown attempts, trying to get in there, maybe attack the leg, trying to get that left hook in. But I've seen his striking with his coaches, and to be honest, it looks like he has a slightly different game plan. He's been sparring so many people in freaking Thailand and all these other places, and so I'm like, okay, so he's been working, and he hasn't fought since then. So I'm pretty sure that's been his only goal since he lost to him. So my pick's gonna be Alex Pereira. I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on the knockout, but I feel like decision is the way to go with Alex Pereira.
Yeah, I can certainly feel that because in the lead up before the first fight, you could see that Pereira was doing all this media. He was all over the world with the belt. He was focusing on all these other things, and then ultimately in the lead up to this fight, you haven't heard anything from Alex Pereira. So I love Alex Pereira. It was so awesome to see him at UFC 297. Just the guy didn't even have security, man. Like he was lining up signing autographs at a Hollerhead booth with like only the regular subway station security at like the biggest opening of a subway station in Toronto, man. And it's just awesome. Pereira, just 3,500 people lined up around the corner to go in. To go and meet him, and it was awesome to see. But he's like, that was what he was doing with that belt at that time, man. He wasn't even fighting at 297, and now it's all those. And then you haven't seen any of that from him. So certainly, I think he's going to come in more focused. I don't think he's going to change the game plan. So if Ankalaev can answer double times what Alex Pereira game plan was, because I had a huge bet on Alex Pereira the first time around, and I'm gonna bet that same again personally, but from a capper level, I might have to go the Ankalaev side there. It kind of makes more sense statistically with the numbers.
Well, looks like we're all taking Alex Pereira.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Fuck it.
Anyway, why not? Fight Time Network loves Alex Pereira.
Got us on the boat, fishing hook, baby. But I never fully said I was taking Ankalaev. I just didn't see it going too much different than the first time. And then I'm looking at the stats here. Pereira actually outstruck him for 2 rounds. Yeah. And he defended every takedown. So really was it a big unanimous decision. I mean, if I had the shits, I'm probably not going to be fighting very spontaneous either. Like it
Yeah.
is what it is. And Ankalaev, really, if he can't come out and do anything different than the first fight, and Alex Pereira could just make a couple adjustments, Magomed might be in trouble here. He could have circled out plenty of times. It's not like a Pereira was accepting that position on the fence, man, for a hot
Yeah.
minute of it. He might be like, if I go left, I might poop myself. So he probably just chilled, like, you know.
Yeah, for real, bro. That's what it looked like.
And I said
There
something to
wasn't much.
one of my best friends, and you're right. I told my buddy Kick, like, he was not fighting the same. He never would move forward. When have you ever seen Pereira really ever get backed up in his career? Even when he got slept by Izzy, he was pushing forward, opened up. Like it wasn't
Yep.
his losses aren't from crazy things. Like and Ankalaev never really did anything in that fight. Did he stun Pereira, if I'm not wrong? Didn't Ankalaev stun
There's one moment in the
second round?
fight where it looked very good for Ankalaev, but it was one of those fights where it was not decisively won. That's why we're getting a rematch ultimately. And you know what? There was a lot of argument on both ends, like the entire MMA community, professional, amateur, capper, blogger, you name it, was just completely divided on the decision. So ultimately, there's a huge argument for both sides. And I mean, my feelings that night was Pereira won, but ultimately there were some arguments that ultimately Ankalaev has a few more answers than Pereira has experienced before.
You ain't wrong.
I like that.
Well, hell, that wraps up our UFC 320 breakdown and predictions, ladies and gentlemen. You got anything for anybody, Lee?
Yeah, for sure. We're going to be lighting it up this weekend. UFC Perth by itself did not go the way we wanted to, but I mean, we got all those other B leagues. And as I say, in week in and week out, MMA is a market on its own, and it is always fight time at Fight Time Network.
That's what I'm talking about. You got anything, Moises? Back in this
Man,
building,
honestly,
back into action. Get so.
hell yeah, bro. Honestly, I'm just excited. Especially UFC 320 has me just fired up, bro. Because man, I did do a DGen bet on yesterday, right? On Saturday. Well, if it's gonna be on Monday, on Saturday, right? For UFC Perth.
Bro, if you're
I
betting,
ended
you
up
are a
doing
DGen.
I did do a DGen, a four-legger, right? And then I'm gonna say what it was, and you guys are gonna be like, "You're freaking crazy." And so I had Michelle Montague, Sterling, and then I had on the same parlay, I ended up having Neil Magny and Dominic Reyes. Uh, and so when he got knocked out, bro, I told my wife, I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm going to work. I'm like, let's go. But yeah, man, honestly, yeah, man. So I'm
Part of
just
the
excited
game.
for UFC 320. We're gonna come back stronger. We're gonna come back a lot better. We're gonna be watching tape all day with you guys, and making sure that we have our winnable updated for the picks this UFC 320. And I'll make sure I get in contact with Lee so we can add my DFS picks on there too.
Hell yeah, man. Throw those DFS up
Let's
there.
get some, baby. All righty.
Hell yeah.
UFC 320 this Saturday. Hope you all enjoy it. See y'all next week on Fight Time Network. Out. Fight Time Network.